Hey guys, how's it going? It's Travis Morse with the Forest Hill Film Lab, and today I'm gonna be making a video for everyone. My whole entire channel has been really geared towards film-only shooters. That's kind of the environment that I decided to create on purpose. I wanted this to be a place where already film photographers could come, feel like there was a guy that was on their team, and kind of just wanted to make content for film photographers, I guess primarily. So today I'm kind of trying to make a video for those people that aren't film photographers yet. I want to try to make some sort of encouraging video about film photography that is not the old-fashioned comparison video that of course I've done, and so has every other film photographer. Um, I want to talk about the things that are not in comparison to digital. I want to talk about the things that make film photography great just on its own, just as its own thing. So today I'm kind of just going to be inviting you guys who are film photographers to, I guess hear some of my points. And for those of you guys who are not film photographers yet, I just want to make a video welcoming you into the club with open arms and something that hopefully the whole family can enjoy. So let's get started. So, just to start it off, I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but when I do my videos, I kind of just riff off the top of my head. I just send it and say what I'm going to say, and that's the video. So that's kind of what this is going to be. But in the past, I've always done this, and sometimes I let my passion get the best, or not get the best of me, but I let my passion get ahead of me. And like I said, I've always been trying to talk to the film photographers only. That being said, over the summertime, I met a guy that doesn't like me, and big surprise, I know. So I met a guy that doesn't like me, and he hasn't liked me for years. And he's a digital photographer, but I mean he shoots film too. But anyways, the reason he doesn't like me is because of my viewpoint on photography. So that's fine. But I had the chance to talk to him, and my feelings aren't hurt by him. And I asked him, why don't you like me? We both love photography. What the hell, And he expressed to me that, online you come off as an elitist, and online you're an asshole, and online you think film is better, and online blah blah blah. So I'm here to tell you guys, I absolutely do love film. I absolutely do think it's amazing. But this is a persona, If I'm going to come talk to you guys about film photography, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to talk about film photography and film photography only. But that doesn't mean that if you shoot digital, you're a piece of garbage. So, that being said, I want to tell you guys the reasons why I love film photography that have nothing to do with digital photography. And I'm kind of just going to get started. Like I said, I'm going to freestyle it and just kind of say some of the things that I think is excellent about it, and maybe encourage people to join the dark side. So, the first thing is that, it's really not that hard. It is intimidating to go from your digital camera into the film world because you don't get to see your photos and you don't get to know how good you're doing, and that can be stressful. But this is the thing about film photography that's great. Believe it or not being able to see your photos and not knowing if you're doing good or not, what it does is it will actually make you a better photographer because it will slow you down inevitably, and it'll help you to look at the scene before taking the photo. It will help you to see the world without even needing a camera, because that's what you're going to have to do. The beauty of the thing that I've always loved about shooting film is that it is truly just photography. When I'm out there in the world, I click this little camera. It gives me nothing back, but only the satisfaction of feeling at least like I captured the shot. We still don't know until I get home and develop it, but it's that relationship between you and your camera only, where there's nothing else in the way, and really all you are doing is photography. You're not doing anything else. You don't. It's almost like a little bit of freedom, because you don't have to, and you also don't get to worry about the shot after you take it. Once it's taken, it's kind of captured in your capsule, and it's there now, and that's it. So if you did it wrong, you did it wrong, and if you did it right, I hope you did it right, you know. And so because of this limiting factor, it changes the way you shoot. It changes the way you see things, and it changes the way you compose things. And ultimately, it's going to make your photos better by default because you're going to have less photos to take. You're not going to take all those in between filler shots. When I was working at camp, I would give the kids a camera and I'd say, you have 10 frames to shoot. They don't even get a whole medium format roll's worth of photos. You get 10. And the look on their face is crazy. And they go out for 2 hours and they come back. I say, did you finish your 10 frames yet? No. I only shot 3. Why? How? How did you only shoot 3? Well, because, nothing really felt like it was good enough. Well, that's excellent. That's an excellent reason to only shoot 3 photos, because now what has happened is that immediately the most novel digital photographer who these 12, 13, 14-year-old kids have been born into this world and never knew anything otherwise, they instantly value each frame more. And therefore, they put more time and energy into each frame, and then what comes back as a result is a more valuable image. You have an image that you have put more time into, it holds more value. At the end of the day, out of your 10 frames, you'll probably get 7 good ones, and that's 70%. And even if you get 2 good ones, that's 20%. That's pretty good. So this is one of the things that I fell in love with as far as shooting a film camera goes. Let's try to simplify it. This is welcoming you guys to shoot a film camera. Another reason that I think it's excellent is that it gives you a little bit of privacy. Now, if I go shoot a subject on the street, it's my photo. I don't really have to share it with anybody else unless I think it's good enough. I don't ever have to show anybody my screen. I'm never forced into that situation of let me see it. And because of that, I get to be selfish. I get to keep it for myself. That's what I'm here for. I'm not carrying a camera around for you. I'm carrying it around for me. And so if I want you to see the photo, I will show it to you. But until then, this is my photo. And I get to keep it until I want it to see the light of day. And there's something about that makes it a little bit more significant, because now I could go out and shoot the world the way I see it and the way I want to, and I don't have to answer to anybody. Another example, I was shooting years and years ago at a water slide park, and my buddy was riding his bike on the ramp, and I was shooting my digital camera, and the cops pulled up. I said, well, let me see your photos. Let me see what you've been up to. Of course I don't want to show him, but he says, give me your camera. And he scrolls through the photos. And he said, okay, well, I'm going to have to take this memory card away because there's evidence on here. And I had to give him that memory card. And I don't know, I just felt so violated in that moment because I had to share my photos with someone against my will, and then they took them from me. And I had to wait 3-4 months to get that memory card back, and I did get it back, and I did have the photos, surprisingly enough. But it was just like, I don't know, the principle behind it. I really didn't like that. I really wanted to be able to keep it in my camera, nice and safe, and say, oh, this is mine. You're not going to take my photos from me. And then so to kind of further on that, when you have this old, fun-looking film camera, what it almost does, it gives you a passport, because a lot of times people haven't seen something like this in a while, or they don't know what it is, or they want to know what it is. So I've often found that when I'm out in the world, if I'm in a street photography setting and I actually want to take a portrait of someone on the street, if I have an interesting looking camera, they always say yes. It's a free yes. I already know. If I have a big wooden Graflex camera, nobody says no to a photo. And because of that, it actually opens up a whole new world of subjects to me, because all it takes is me to ask, and I already have the equipment that's going to pique their interest and draw them in. And that's not to say that this isn't possible with any other camera. It absolutely is. But if you're up in someone's face with a big honking digital lens and a big old professional looking awesome camera, believe me, I've been this guy. People wonder, what are you doing? They want to know, why? Why are you carrying that? What are you shooting this for? Where are these going to end up? They want to know so much more about your business. But this isn't their business. This is our business. So I just want your picture, yes or no. I don't want to show you after. I don't want to tell you where it's going after. I don't want to ask your permission for anything but for a photo. So, excuse me, my daughter got me sick. So I've been getting back on the YouTube, and I've just kind of been thinking about how to introduce more people into film photography. That's my whole goal with this whole entire channel, is to bring people in, make it seem more welcoming. If you are looking into getting a film camera, go get a point and shoot. Just dive in. All it takes is sending one roll off to the lab, or taking one roll down to the camera store that develops it. It's just, you have to just do the first roll, and it's so fun. Like, there's no reason not to. Another example that I like to tell people, when I got into photography, I went head over heels into the digital camera market. I've owned so many digital cameras. I've been the consumer time and again, and I loved every minute of it. But like, when you're getting all into those big expensive cameras, you kind of get lost in the sauce, and you're still not really getting anything new. If you go out and you get yourself an old twin lens camera, that's a whole new realm. That's a new format that nobody else is shooting. It's a new kind of camera. It's different optics than you would normally get on your Nikon or your Canon, and it kind of gives you a whole different result. And so, if you think about having one camera and 5 different rolls of film, that's 5 possibilities. So if you have 3 cameras and 5 different rolls of film, that's opportunity for 15 different outcomes, and so on and so forth. So that idea, that the vast amount of different variables I could have, I could go find a camera that I've never seen one of my friends have, and good, bad, or ugly, I'm going to make some photos that are unique to that camera that no one else is making. That really, really intrigued me when I started shooting more cameras. I'm a camera nerd. I love collecting these things because I get bored easily. I get bored. I want to do something new. I want to see something new. I want to pull something out of the take that I'm not expecting, so on and so forth. Which leads me to my next point. Back in the day, our parents, I'll say our parents because we're all adults, so our parents, when our grandpa wanted to be a photographer, if he liked photography in any facet, if he thought to himself, man, I'd love to take some pictures of the kids or whatever, if he even had the inkling to shoot any photos at all, he would have no choice but to shoot a film camera. He would not be wondering, I wonder what I'm going to do. Am I going to get a camera? Am I going to get a film camera? Am I going to draw pictures of my family? That's it. It was the only option. So he would go out shopping. Not if I'm getting a film camera, which film camera is right for me. Do I want a point and shoot? Do I want a rangefinder? Am I going to take it more seriously and get a medium format? But he didn't have the choice. So he loved photography, and he didn't have a choice but to shoot film. And so for me, I kind of take that notion and I think to myself, well, if I love photography. I love photography just as much as the next guy. I should have to do that stuff too, because that is photography. That is at its core. I compare it to if I was telling you guys, oh, I'm a car guy. I love cars. I love hot rods. But I don't really mess with gas engines. I'm into the electric stuff. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, but to really be that hot rod car guy, you gotta know about carburetors. You gotta know about combustion, and you gotta know about things like that, because that is what it is. If you like cars, that is cars, and they might be different today than they were in the 20, 30, 40 years ago, but at their core, it's still pistons, it's still transmission, it's still light, it's still aperture, it's still film. The film is still photography. So that is, that's one of the driving things I tell people all the time. It's not fair for me to not have to do it. If I love photography just as much as I say I do, I want to be a part of this club. I want to do the harder thing because I want to be able to say I love it so much that I'm doing as much as I can. So, and these are all just random points. Like I said, I wanted to make a video that's not a comparison. These aren't comparisons to digital. These are just things that are special about film. Limited number of frames, no guess and check. It's the privacy, all that stuff. So, another thing that I like to do, and I've done it in past videos, but I'm going to kind of read some of these that are more pertaining to this topic, and I'll elaborate. But I love going back and finding old photographer quotes just to see what they were saying about photography. See how much they loved it. And so I found some really cool quotes in here that were pretty easy to find, and they kind of have that inner deep feeling of, when these people made these quotes, they were obviously talking about shooting cameras, film cameras, because that's what they were using. And so photography was that physical archive kind of thing. It was that collection of negatives kind of thing. That was photography when these quotes were made. So I have to apply that kind of scenario to the quotes, and it kind of gives their words a little bit more meaning because the work that they are putting in for their images, I guess if you will. So the first one is by Ruth Bernhard, and her quote is, "If you're not interested in life, then photography has no meaning." So to me, this kind of symbolizes that if you are interested in life, then photography is so meaningful because it's capturing your life for you to see throughout your life, for you to revisit, to go back and enjoy those images. And so for me, that's a really cool quote because it's saying that if you care about life, then you'll document it. And if you don't care about life, then photography is no good for you. Don't keep track then. I thought that was kind of interesting. Here's another one. "Don't shoot what it looks like, shoot what it feels like," by David Allen Harvey. This one, it really speaks to me because that's exactly what we're doing with our film camera. We don't get to see what it looks like. We get to see the scene, but we're still kind of going off feeling. It's still all very spiritual. I think I got the photo. I think the exposure's right. I feel like I got the composition I wanted. It's not definite. And because of that, I thought that was a really good quote. Don't shoot what it looks like, shoot what it feels like. Because, it's all about feeling. Diane Arbus, I spoke about this earlier. "Photography was a license to go wherever I wanted and do what I wanted to do." That kind of is a testament to the privacy of a film camera. The fact that I don't have the possibility of showing anybody what I'm doing. And having that camera, it's a veil, it's a passport. It allows me to tell someone I'm here to photograph something because I want to, and it's my business, and I love that. This was a Ken Rockwell quote, and I don't know how old it is or whatnot, but I thought it was really cool. "The camera's only job is to get out of the way of making photographs." I love that. That is just amazing. That means that the camera is supposed to be the smallest part of the equation. The camera is only there because it has to be. But really, it's an interaction between me and you, my subject, and the photographer. My photo is just a capturing of the moment happening, and once I take the picture, then the camera is done and I can continue with my conversation. It doesn't have to be some event where it's putting extra pressure on things. Its only job is to get out of the way of making photographs. This is a really cool one because I always talk about how if you have a photo you've taken and you lose it for whatever reason, then you only have a story. And if you only have a story, then you might as well have just left your camera at home. So this quote really encompasses that. "In my view, you cannot claim to have seen something until you have photographed it," by Emile Zola. So that tells me that, you cannot claim to see something unless you have photographed it. which means that, you know, in theory, you're probably going to have your photographs to go with your stories for a long time coming. And so if you're going to tell me about something, you better have the photo to back it up. And if you are shooting a film camera, you will. You most certainly will have the negative somewhere around your house lying around that you shot, unless you throw things like that away, which would be pretty weird. Last two quotes are by my favorite, Dorothea Lange, and I couldn't just choose one, so I kind of... These two quotes are really what drives me to be on YouTube at all. These two quotes are the whole reason I'm in my dark room when it's, 45 degrees outside, talking to you guys. So, the first one is, I would like to see photographers become responsible and photography realize its potential. Dorothea Lange was such an amazing photographer, and she was shooting all kinds of conflicts and uncomfortable subjects just to shine light on the situation. She used photography to get people out of a bad spot, and I always love that about her work, and this is what she's talking about. She wants photography and photographers to realize its potential. And the final quote, this is actually like one of the quotes that really changed my life, if you will. When I first read this quote, something kind of clicked in my head and told me, this is what I have to do? This is the answer? Her last quote is, I realize more and more what it takes to be a really good photographer. You go in over your head, not just up to your neck. And that is, that rings so true for me. It's like, don't just kind of do it. If you're gonna do it, go all out, commit to it. I had to make the change from a digital camera to a film camera, and I remember I remember all the conveniences. It is so easy. It is so easy to shoot a wedding and get home and start editing it. There's a million amazing things about the kind of photography that we have available to us today. But there is something about this quote that spoke to me in a way that I was like, if this is my idol, and, going over your head, go in over your head was her, her motto, if you will, then I want to do anything I can to be like that. And so I kind of dove in and just went full steam with it. And little by little added to my collection of things, and increased my workflow. And just a few years ago, 5-6 years ago, I was no different than anyone that's watching this. I was developing with a hand tank in my kitchen sink, hanging my negatives in the bathroom. I was doing all of that stuff, and I had 2 digital cameras over here on the side, and I'd shoot stuff with that first, and then if it really felt important, maybe I'd bring the Hasselblad out and shoot a frame or two. And I really did kind of have that apprehension to use a film camera more. I sort of did have that, that distrust for film, like, oh, what if it doesn't work? What if my photos don't turn out? Yeah, I had all that. I know the feelings. I know how intimidating it could be to pick up a camera that tells you nothing when you take the picture. I know how scary that might seem. But it's like, when you do take the photo with a camera that doesn't give you all the answers, and you get a photo that you're actually happy about, it's like that thing you fell in love with. It's the reason you fell in love with photography. The first time you ever shot a photo on your iPhone or your digital camera or your point and shoot, whatever the hell. The first time you ever saw a picture that was sharp and good exposed, and you thought, wow, I'm pretty good at this. Maybe I'm gonna get a new lens, or maybe I'm gonna start shooting some of my friends' kids. And then the ball rolls further, and then a couple years go by. Maybe I'm gonna shoot a wedding, or maybe I'm gonna start a business. And you kind of take those little baby steps and get more comfortable. So that's film photography as well. Take the first step, shoot the first roll. Go ahead, please, mess up, give it a shot. It's not that easy. It's not so easy to just ruin a whole roll of film. If you put it in a camera and you have a little bit of guidance, you'll probably end up with some photos that you're happy about. And so I'm here to encourage you guys. Give it a shot. Just see what the fuss is about. See if you hate it. Give it a try and see if you hate it. Then you could comment on my videos and say, I tried it and I hate it. I hate waiting. I hate not knowing what the photo looks like. I hate the look of it. I hate grain. You tell me. I want to hear it. But until then, I encourage you guys to try it. Please try it. I'm like, I don't even know. I feel like I'm bored again, and I just want to tell everybody about this thing. It's like, hey, have you heard? Have you heard the news on the street? There's this thing going around. It's film. So that's what I'm here for. That's why I keep going crazy on these videos and ranting my face off, is because I want to share this with everybody who hasn't heard about it yet, and so far a lot of people have. So go out and buy a roll of film, find an old film camera at Goodwill, and get started. Just make one roll of film and see how it goes. So anyways, that's my rant. Thank you guys for listening. I hope this inspired one person. Even if it inspired one single person, it was worth making the video. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, keep on shooting.